Yes, Chairman.
Thank you, Sonia. Good evening, members. Welcome to Rochford District Council's remote meeting of the Executive. Welcome to all members and non-members of the Executive attending in person through this virtual meeting, and also to anyone watching this via the live stream. Just before we get into the meeting, I would just like us to take a few moments to remember Sir Captain Sir Tom Moore. Rochford District Council lowered its flags today at the Civic Suite in Rayleigh to half-mast as a mark of respect following the sad passing of Captain Sir Tom Moore. The chairman of Rochford District Council, Councillor Robin Dray, said, "I was saddened to hear of the passing of Captain Sir Thomas Moore yesterday. This very courageous man was the inspiration we all needed during the time of grave national crisis. He showed us that anyone, no matter what your age or circumstances, can always have the potential to make a huge difference. I am glad that here in the Rochford District, we can acknowledge his accomplishments and honour his memory in this way." If we could just take a few moments, please, just to reflect on his memory and his great achievement. Thank you, members. Moving to agenda item 1, apologies for absence, and I think we're all here, no apologies needed. Moving to item 2, Sonia, would you be kind enough to read out the names of any non-members attending, please?
Certainly, Chairman. We have in attendance Councillors Sperring, Hoy, Newport, Gooding and Mrs Mason.
Lovely. A warm welcome to those non-members of the Executive attending. Most welcome today. Moving on to agenda item number 3, are the minutes of the meeting held on the 2nd of December agreed, members?
Agreed, Chairman.
Agreed.
Agreed, Chairman.
Agreed. Thank you.
Very much. I will take those as agreed. I don't see anyone signifying otherwise. Right, agenda item number 4. Sorry, did someone? Right, moving to agenda item number 4. Are there any declarations of interest anyone wishes to make, please? Again, I can't see any raised hand icons or anyone signifying. Councillor Williams, did I see anything from you? No, okay, all right. Right, moving on to agenda item number 5. Questions on notice from councillors. No questions have been received for this meeting, which takes us nicely on to agenda item 6. Matters referred to the Executive and reports from other committees, and there are none, members. Agenda item 7, the Connect programme update. The Assistant Director, Transformation and Customers, Dawn Tribe, Deputy Leader, Councillor Cheryl Rowe, and Angela Hogg, Connect programme Project Manager, will provide a verbal update on progress with the Connect Cultural and Transformation programme.
Thank you, Chairman. I thought I would take this opportunity to provide a Connect Culture and Transformation programme update. This following the agreement executive on the 8th of July to bring forward the appointment of the Transformation Programme Manager from Phase 2 to Phase 1 of the programme. And I am pleased to say that that appointment has happened and Angela Hogg is with us tonight. Moving forward, updates will be reported quarterly as part of the Programme Management Office report. The bringing forward of this appointment was in a direct response to the changes in the way we were working due to COVID-19 pandemic. These changes primarily being staff working from home, but with services relying on workarounds for delivery models which were being used pre-COVID-19, which are not really sustainable. The staff have adapted really well to working more flexibly and agile, but now is the opportunity for us to look at those things that we said we would do under the Connect programme, to bring those forwards, to enable our customers to work through digital channels and improving our customer experience. So there is an opportunity to identify and to implement these changes earlier than we first did expect. And it's interesting, actually, looking at the feedback from the budget survey, which shows when the question was asked about the council modernising their services and increasing the use of modern technology, these actually scored very highly in that feedback. If I may, Chairman, I would like to hand over to Councillor Cheryl Rowe, who would like to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. And a big welcome to Angela. Oh, my internet's gone down. It has?
No, it hasn't.
It doesn't appear to. We're receiving you loud and clear.
No, that's fine. Good, thank you. The screen just went down. Sorry, everyone. Yes, big welcome to Angela. It's great to see you here tonight. I'm delighted to be able to provide you with an update on the Council's Connect Cultural and Transformation Change Programme. There's been a considerable activity and progress made in the last few months, and the pace at which the programme is moving is a credit to the leadership team, workstream leads and key change champions, particularly in these most challenging of times. As we know, it will be through the Connect programme that the Council will be able to deliver the best customer experience possible, underpinned by the creation of a more empowered and agile workforce. Every single officer and elected member of the Council has an important part to play in achieving the required transformation and services and cultural change. I would also like to highlight the immensely important work that Nikki Moore has been leading on as Connect Workforce Development Workstream Lead. Supporting our officers has never been so crucial. A wide-ranging of ongoing staff development programme will provide the necessary training and tools to equip our officers and to continue to deliver services to our customers, as well as a focus on their well-being and ability for many to adopt new ways of working in different working environments. We have commissioned the services of Angela Hogg via East of England Local Government Association to lead on the programme management of Connect. I am pleased to be able to now hand over to Angela to talk you through the progress made to date and the tools in place that give us confidence the key objectives and benefits of Connect will be delivered against the agreed project plan. Thank you, Angela. Over to you.
Thank you, Councillor Rowe. And thank you, everyone, for inviting me to meet with you this evening. I'm really delighted as the Connect Programme Manager to be sharing this transformational journey with you and to have the opportunity to outline the really great progress already made with the Connect programme. I'd like to now move to a fairly short presentation to guide us through my update, if that's okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Is everyone okay to see that? Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So, as has already been alluded to, I'd firstly like to highlight the great effort that has been made to date by the leadership team and Councillor Rowe as project member sponsor. As the Connect Programme Manager, my function has got many different aspects around ensuring the delivery of the Council's Gold project. Although this evening I would really like to concentrate on two particular elements. So firstly, it's around explaining the project framework and the controls that are in place to give you the confidence that Connect is on track to deliver the required transformation and benefits to the customer and the council, and also to bring you up to date with Connect, key next steps and the governance arrangements. So just by way of a quick reminder, Connect is obviously a gold project for the council, approved and supported by members, which is crucial. So there are 4 work streams: service delivery led by Dawn Tribe, and the next important phase of this work has just commenced with Key Change Champions in the development of Invest to Save projects. The communication and engagement work stream lead led by Louisa Moss. Obviously this aspect is key in engaging with staff and stakeholders about the Connect programme. The workforce development led by Nikki Amor is also critical in ensuring that staff have the knowledge, tools and skills to support transformation. And Nikki will separately update you on this aspect. And the final work stream is around the asset delivery programme led by Matt Harwood-White. And that whole area has now been incorporated within the Connect programme in terms of monitoring and reporting. So these all fall now under the umbrella of the Connect programme. So if we look at the significant progress made to date, and just going back really to last July when I was appointed as the Connect programme manager, lots of activity and work has been done in the background. So I'm really, really pleased today to be able to come and speak to you about all the work that has already been undertaken and what's now the next focus on what we have to do. So working with the leadership team, we've had an opportunity really to revisit Connect as a result of the pandemic. And in terms of the agile working, we've learned lessons from this with a significant shift to staff working from home. And we appreciate that Connect is so much more than this. And this experience has really helped us shape Connect going forward. In terms of digital transformation, it's even now more important. As we've heard from Dawn, customers' needs have changed, and it's really important that we continue to be flexible and improve that customer experience through digital transformation. And in terms of customer needs, Connect will also change the way that we work. And again, this all feeds into enhancing that customer experience. And aligned with the digital transformation and changes in ways of working and supporting staff's well-being, the staff development programme has been is being progressed. So in terms of moving forward and to create a really strong foundation in terms of to be able to push forward with Connect, we have a number of different aspects in place already. So we have all different tools. There's a project plan, excuse me, risks and issue register. We do regular highlight reporting, and there's various templates and guidance to be able to assist officers to be able to be part of this journey with us, with minimising resourcing as much as possible. So in terms of next steps, really, the monumental effort that we've already described will now continue to be led primarily by the Council's Key Change Champions. And we've had a first meeting with them at the end of January to really focus on the next phase. So the Key Change Champions are obviously managers within the Council, and that they're a group of managers that work together across services that will develop ideas into proposals, and then in turn to Invest to Save business cases for approval. It's really important to note that the Key Change Champions will lead on this work in addition to their normal role as service manager leads. Looking forward in terms of that pipeline of proposals, the Invest to Save business cases, we will be looking to present these to Executive Committee at your July meeting. It's worth noting at this stage, it's really difficult to anticipate the number of business cases that may actually be put forward to exec at this point, as this will depend on the amount of viable proposals created and generated by the Key Change Champions. The leadership team will prioritise and look to group proposals where there is synergy. As a minimum, a pipeline of business cases will be presented. Business cases will be prioritised based on those with the greatest and quickest benefits. Before going to exec, business cases will be reviewed by the Connect Programme Board, and my role will be really critical to ensure that only those business cases that have been thoroughly looked at through the agreed process and demonstrate they are both robust and viable are put forward to exec at that stage. We will, however, look to implement any viable proposals as early as possible via the Connect Programme Board. In other words, quick wins, where there is an obvious benefit and no investment required. So in terms of governments, just looking at the kind of key groups, we have a Connect project group that meets every 2 weeks, and that reports progress via monthly Connect highlight reporting. And every quarter, that feeds into the Connect Programme Board. Then every quarter, it will feed into the leadership team business review meeting, and in turn, via the project management office to exec. And just to really summarise on some of the key points, even with all the difficulties presented by the kind of current pandemic and significant impact on resources, Rochford is well placed to achieve the objectives of Connect, both in terms of its digital transformation and changes to ways of working and improving the customer experience. As an approved gold project, Connect has your support, and this is both valued and crucial. Your leadership team is committed to the success of Connect and supports key change champions and services to lead on this change. A range of strong project management tools are now in place to give you the confidence on the delivery of the benefits that you seek. And through Nikki's work and the staff development programme, staff will be supported both in terms of their skill set and well-being. Thank you for your time. I shall hand back to Dawn.
Thank you, Angela. As Angela just mentioned about the workforce development, Nikki is here and will give a brief update where she is with the workforce development, if that's okay, Chairman.
That is. Over to you, Nikki.
Good evening, members. As Angela said, I'm the Workforce Development Lead for Connect. It's a really important work stream and quite rightly has a dedicated focus. The Council's ambitious plans for transformation need to be fully supported by the officers. Analysis of the training and development needs of the officers has started and is ongoing, and this will inform the design of the staff development programme. Already, we've identified through a digital skills audit some need for digital training, but also some softer skills such as people management and building resilience. Our staff are our biggest asset, is often said in organisations, and it's never been truer than it is now at Rochford. The staff development programme will ensure an investment in this key asset so that residents can ultimately have the best customer experience. I've also been working on some key documents such as a Connect People Plan and an Agile Working Policy, and also on a refreshed appraisal system to manage staff performance in the new ways of working. I'm looking forward to sharing more information and detail with members as we move forward with this work stream. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Just before we take any questions, can I just say that to be involved with this ambitious programme, it would have been very easy this time last year to actually put it in cold storage and say, well, we've got enough of a challenge in dealing with the issues to do with the current crisis. But no, you've carried on. Everything is running to time. There could have been no better test than to pass out home working to all the staff that have adapted to it in a wonderful way. But actually, it was a dress rehearsal for the real thing to test people's ability to do remote working. And I think it is a real tribute that as a team, you've pushed on with this project, along with all the other additional things that COVID has thrown at us, as well as dealing with business as usual. So my personal thanks for this tremendous piece of work, which is essential to the future success as we derive benefits from transformation and what technology and agile working can offer. So that's my personal appreciation on behalf of all of the executive. Thank you very much indeed. If I can take a question from Councillor FD.
Thank you, Chairman. Just one question, really. Talked a lot about staff, taking staff with this, with Connect. We need to be taking members as well. Members need to learn how to interact with the new buildings and how to interact with how Connect's going to work going into the future. I know we talk about key change champions. Is there a thought of a member key change champion at all?
We haven't thought of a members champions at the moment, but certainly as far as the digital and new technology, it's something I have spoken to Sonia about, the training subgroup, and talking about how that training for members, and we can develop members' knowledge of technology. That's not just around how we use the laptops, but it's about the implementing of our things like our customer relationship management system with our single sign-on customer portal. And so through the subgroup, we're going to look at how we can provide some training, but also maybe do some of informal sessions with members around the implementation of that new technology to the customers, so that we're bringing everybody on board. It's quite early days with the key change champions at the moment. And we're looking really quite quickly and looking at those projects, the Invest to Save projects. Then after that, once we've decided what they will be, we will then know what projects we're moving forward, and then we will then know the training needs, or where there's gap in training needs, both for members and for staff.
Brilliant. Thank you, Don.
Thank you. Councillor Belton, you wish to ask a question?
Thank you. Firstly, just to say, if the last year has shown us anything, it's the importance of being adaptable and how vital technology is to business and community alike. So I'm excited and welcome this new versatile and robust way of working for the council. And I was just curious, you mentioned sort of having reviewed things as a result of the pandemic, and has it changed much from the original plan? Has the pandemic changed the original vision, or actually has it sort of played into its hands, if you like, by its very nature of sort of the home working?
It's played into the hands of what we wanted to do with the Connect transformation programme. There was a big cultural piece that we thought we were going to need to do. That cultural piece of getting our staff to work in an agile and flexible way was obviously put upon us very quickly, and I must say it's been incredible, not just staff, actually members as well, yourselves, in the way that everybody has adapted to that agile and flexible working. So that piece of the cultural piece of work and people adapting to that is put upon us. That's not to say that this is a perfect way of doing things, because we do understand we are still in a pandemic and there is still work that people need to do within the offices. And so that proves difficult in itself at the moment. But the opportunities are there now to really look at how we can enhance what we're doing. And so the well-being of staff, and Nikki and more working on the workforce development stuff to actually support staff and bringing those things forward now is really, really crucial.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Rowe.
Thank you, Chairman. For those of you who had listened to my speech, I did actually say that every elected member of this council has an important part to play, and I can only emphasise that every member of this council has an important part to play, as well as our members of staff. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. I can't see anyone else indicating, so I'd just like to repeat my thanks on behalf of the executive for attendance tonight and providing that very useful briefing. And we wish you every success as you progress through the programme. Thank you very much indeed. Moving on to agenda item number 8, which is the Q3 2020-21 Financial Management Report. I'm going to ask the portfolio holder for financial services, Councillor Simon Smith, to present the report. I'm sure that he will be ably assisted by Assistant Director Naomi Lucas. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you, Chairman. quarter three is particularly important because as we get toward the end of year, things tend to get a bit clouded by the budget and I dare say elections. And the end of year is subject to a lot of formal processes that take some time. So quarter three is a particularly important staging post. So the purpose of this report is to set out the forecast revenue and capital budget positions as at quarter three. The forecast outrun at quarter three is a projected underspend of £154,000. Given the ongoing pressures, we hope that by the time we get to the end of the year, we will be in a balanced position, which represents a great achievement. The projected underspend is due to prudent financial management, which combined with the full application of the Council's 2020-2021 COVID grant allocation of £1.1 million has allowed the Council to contain its COVID-19 related pressures this year. The Council is incurring additional COVID-19 related expenditure in a number of areas, such as support for our leisure services, provision for homeless services, increased litter collection, and we're also expected to face losses across a number of income lines, most notably of which is car parking. The Council is required to report monthly on its expected financial pressures relating to the pandemic, and these returns have been shared with members. Central government has introduced a scheme to reimburse local authorities for an element of its lost income. An initial claim for £458,000 has been made, and a final window for claims in this financial year will be opened at year end. The COVID-19 pandemic is continued to have an impact, expected to have an impact into 21-22, although the full impact cannot yet be clear. It will depend on how quickly the wider economy recovers. The government has confirmed that the income compensation scheme will continue at least into the first quarter of 2021-22. It's also announced unring-fenced COVID grant for local authorities in the next financial year. And for Rochford, the allocation is £341,000. The position will continue to be closely monitored for the remainder of the year and beyond, as expected. The original capital programme for 2020 and 21 was reprofiled earlier in the year, and the revised budget is now £1.969 million. The forecast outrun on the Council's capital programme as at quarter three is £1.590 million. And the table in Appendix 3 summarises the projected position by service area. It can't go without note, Chairman, that the amount of flux, change and the dynamic nature of the year has made this year exceptionally challenging, to say the least. I'll recommend to you the decision printed on 1.1 to note the report. I'm happy to take questions with the assistance of Naomi, who I must again thank for all her hard work and the many hours of work that have gone into this report and the further management of our financial affairs during this very, very challenging year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Any questions that you wish to ask of Councillor Smith? I can't see any blue hands coming up. I can't see any indications whatsoever. So you got away with that one extremely well.
Thank you, Chairman.
And can I also, on behalf of the executive, just endorse your comments to both yourself as portfolio holder under your stewardship of the financial management, along very ably supported by the Assistant Director, Naomi Lucas, and her team for the brilliant work that has gone on in an unimaginable year in terms of managing this council's finances. And I really cannot stress the brilliant work that has been carried out by that team in terms of the additional work and dealing with the distribution of a huge sum of money to ensure that our businesses are supported in line with the parameters set out under the government scheme. It's a real tribute to everyone and bit like the transformation programme, it's above and beyond business as usual. And we need to remember that. Thank you very much indeed. Now, if I move to paragraph 1.1, there is one recommendation, and that's a recommendation to note. So I read out, it is to note Q3 2020-21 revenue budget and capital positions set out in sections 3 and 4 and detailed at appendices 1 to 4. Is that noted, members?
Noted.
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 Thank you, members. Moving on to agenda item 9, the waste collection and street cleansing contract. The portfolio holder for Environment and Place, Councillor Arthur Williams, will introduce the report. Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Chairman and members. Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce the report that you have before you regarding our waste collection and street cleansing contract, also associated exempt appendices to this report. My sincere thanks go to the members of the working group for all of their hard work. It is so very much appreciated. I have to say this was a most informative task. I am sure, well, I hope anyway, that they agree with that. As you all know, as a council, we have an excellent record for our waste management and recycling. This has been at the forefront of our minds whilst making these recommendations to council. With this in mind, we now have the opportunity to improve this still further. I would also at the moment like to take this opportunity to thank all of our staff and contractors for maintaining such high standards during this very difficult time. Nothing short of fantastic. Thank you all. I think a fantastic job, thank you. Also my thanks to officers, especially AD Marcus Houghton, for such a concise, detailed report, whom I'm sure will be able to answer any questions that we may have. Over to you, Marcus. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. Can you all hear me clearly? Excellent. So I'm just trying a new headpiece. It's to try and cut out some of the background noise of the children. It sounds like a locker room in a rugby club next door a lot of the time. So it's an attempt to try and soften the blow of the noise. Well, thank you, members. The report sets out the proposed approach to procuring the new waste collection and street cleansing contract, which is due to commence in 2022. There are 5 recommendations that as members you are being asked to consider. What I'm proposing to do is to go through the recommendations briefly, summarising, drawing to your attention relevant parts of the report that sort of flesh out each recommendation. So if I take each recommendation in turn, recommendation 1.1 is basically to agree a 3-month extension to the existing contracts. The report itself sets out the reasons for doing so in paragraphs 5.12 to 5.20. But specifically, if I can draw your attention to exempt appendix 1, this sets out the timetable. The contract's award is planned for September 2021. And to do this would require the contract to mobilise in 6 months before the existing contract ceases in March 2022. And although achievable, a 9-month mobilisation period would be far more attractive to the market and allow greater contingency should it be required. And this is one of the key themes you'll find throughout the this report and in how we've developed this contract, is that we're trying to ensure that the tender that we put out is attractive to the market as possible, and therefore we have as many bidders as possible, which should then drive the price down. It's about making sure there is real competition and interest for this contract. So it's not about being soft. So you'll hear me mention this again and again through the report about it being attractive to the market and things. It's not about us rolling over to the market. It's about ensuring that we are aligned with what the market feels it is able to bid for. So to do this, we're going to provide a longer mobilisation period of 9 months. And it's proposed pending executive approval that a 3-month extension to the existing contracts reflecting current price and terms and conditions be finalised with Suez. And so at the time it finishes in March 22, we're suggesting it then finishes in July 2022. But essentially it is the same contract as we have now in terms of price and terms and conditions. It is just simply a 3-month extension, but this allows us a greater mobilisation period time, and although not essential, I would argue will appeal heavily to the market. With regards to recommendation 1.2, the approval of the £20,000 budget for legal services, and recommendation 1.4, which refers to the tender process, I would take those both together. And I'd like to draw members' attention to section 5, page 9.2 of the report, which sets out the proposals for procurement and the use of the competitive procedure with negotiation. This will give potential bidders certainty over investing in time to put together a bid, with the vast majority of the core contracts specified. Therefore, they're clear about what they're costing against. But we're still allowed a degree of negotiation on certain aspects of the contracts. For example, the provision of commercial waste services. So the key points of negotiation are listed under section 7, starting at paragraph 7.14. And the key points are provision of capital, ICT arrangements, national waste strategy, commercial waste service, and charging for garden waste collection. And these are points that we'd bring back to consider and discuss with each contractor to see what proposals they have, and would allow us to actually shape the final version of the tender and the specification. So this process of negotiation will require an input from a legal expertise with a commercial background to provide advice in the negotiations and to help finalise the contracts. So it's proposed that a £20,000 budget is approved by the executive to provide this legal support. As part of this procurement process, members have also been asked to specifically note the 60% price and 40% quality evaluation, and further note the evaluation process criteria are set out in exempt appendix 2. The rationale for the 60-40 split is set out in the report, paragraphs 5.8 to 5.10. And in summary, the weighting was chosen to ensure that the value for money will be achieved, but recognises that quality will also be given considerable weighting in a service that reaches every household in the district. This weighting also agrees with the recommendation by Ricardo for similar waste services contracts that have been successful in last couple of years in terms of award. With regard to recommendation 1.3, key terms of the contract, I'm asking members to note section 7 of this report, which sets out key aspects of the contract specification. The significant change in comparison to existing contracts is that it reflects the aims of the Rochers' new waste strategy as agreed by Council. The key part is really that it's going to be the removal of the weekly combined food and garden waste service, replaced with a alternate weekly collection of garden waste and a weekly collection of food. And that is what the waste strategy identified, and the contract reflects that critical change. Putting aside that change, fundamentally the collection service in terms of recycling collection, refuse collection, collections to flats, bin returns, assiduous collections, etc., i.e. the rest of the contracts will basically remain the same, as it is essentially a good service. I think you'll agree that over the sort of period that I've been involved, it works, I think, is we're keen to say. The final recommendation, 1.5, is to note the inclusion of street cleansing contract within the waste collection service. For a previous report to the executive, options were scoped out to look at the delivery of the street cleansing contracts. The report identified further work should be undertaken by a consultant to provide costed options. These options were a standalone street cleansing contract, street cleansing incorporated into the Green Gateway trading LATCO, combining the street cleansing and waste collection service very much as we do now. And the fourth option was incorporating litter collection of the grounds maintenance contracts into any one of the above options. So essentially, it's the little bit of litter picking that's done in open spaces, and the bins that are emptied now by grounds maintenance could actually be picked up by the street cleansing contracts instead. The consultant report, which is an exempt appendix in Appendix 4, summarised that the continuation of a combined street cleansing and waste collection service incorporating that extra litter collection from the grounds maintenance contracts would achieve the lowest contract price. So the saving itself was around about £35,000 a year, which, given the contract price is around about 800,000 a year, you could argue is a fag packet in many ways. It's not something that would necessarily tip it one way or the other. But I would argue that, firstly, we have an effective service already, and therefore if there's no savings as such to be achieved, you'll be changing for change's sake if you chose a different option. I think critically as well, the soft marketing and further intelligence from Ricardo suggests that incorporating the street cleansing into the waste collection service as we do now makes this a significantly more attractive contract to the market. And so in a sense that covers all 5 points of the contract, of the report, and I'm happy to take questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. And there's a number of blue hands, so I go first of all to Councillor Efty.
Thank you, Marcus, for a really well put together report. I've just got a question on 7.21,
and
where it says.
Can I just stop you there, Councillor Efty? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I ought to remind members that there are a number of exempt appendices to the report. If you need to make any reference to any of these, or wish to speak or ask questions on any of these, can you please indicate before speaking, as it will be necessary to move a recommendation to exclude the press and public first. So I should have given you that as a preliminary warning not to stray into the exempt part, unless of course you wish to, and in that case we would have to move into private and confidential session. Sorry, Councillor Efty, I apologise.
It's not an exempt, I don't think, is it? I don't think it is.
No,
7.2, I've lost it now. Let me just go back down. Yeah, it says we could finance the vehicles to the company who gets the whoever it is who ends up with it. Are we legally allowed to do that as a council? Be basically a finance company? Naomi might be able to help with this.
Well, no, I mean, the short answer is I'm not sure if it can be a finance company, but certainly we're legally allowed to do this arrangement. Yes, I mean it's frequently done across for other waste contracts, and certainly it's nothing particularly new in terms of suggestion. But yes, my understanding is we are legally allowed to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Efty. Councillor Smith.
Thank you. What's been described to us as a framework is very comprehensive, and I have no doubt that with the support that has been described, a good contract will be arrived at. I'll take one small issue with you, Marcus. You said we've got a good service at the moment. It's a great service at the moment. So it really is a good service. In fact, we frequently hear Councillor Williams telling us, giving us compliments about the crews, particularly in the last year, and how well they've done. We've admired the commitment of them. They've been very responsive, and the current contract is one that has got the overwhelming support of our residents and has served the district so very well. So within the framework that you've got, how do you try and match those sort of factors? The commitment of the crews, the dedication of the staff, the support that we need of our residents. Thank you.
If I can take you down, so I mean, obviously it's within the quality evaluation criteria. So in many ways, there's the method delivery statements within there. So you'd be asking how they, and part of that is how they do actually manage their staff and the sort of culture they have. So we can score against that. I mean, what I would also, there is undeniably always teething problems when a new contract starts. But I think, you know, it's as much, I'll take some credit here, the culture of the council that they work with as much as the culture of the contractor. So we equally have a good reputation. I understand from speaking to another couple of contractors that we're a council they want to work with, as we have a culture of wishing to work in true partnership. And that is part of the specification. But again, like I say, you know, you tease this out within the quality assessment and within the presentations and the negotiation period.
Thank you. Councillor Belton.
Thank you. Just one small point, and I agree that we do have a fantastic service, and the vast amount of things we ever see from the public is praise. So that's great. One area I think we can look at within the tender, and I won't go into the specifics obviously from the exempt, but within that 40% quality is looking at the environmental impact, the carbon neutrality thing. With the carbon neutral target that the council have, I think this is a perfect opportunity to make sure anyone that we partner with on such a big project is on the same page as us in terms of future goals, and that we're looking to really maximise those carbon savings for the want of the sort of the environmental services. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Belton. I'm sure that's noted. Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Chairman. It's just on the tendering. I just wondered what impact the remnants of EU law would have. I'm not sure if those parts have actually been repealed by Parliament, because that you're shaking your head. So I take it that's the case, that they haven't been repealed at all, and we still have to take notice.
Yes, we do. Yeah, I think. I mean, I mentioned this. The slight change. It's now called the find a tender service that we use, rather than the old sort of service that you had to publish upon. So, but the actual law itself and the framework behind it has stayed fundamentally the same.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I can't see any more blue hands. Just before I go to the vote, can I just remind members that waste collection over the last year alone has gone up by 35%. Due to people working from home, clearing out their old rubbish, or just generally generating more stuff to collect. And our collectors have dealt with that quietly. They've just got on with the job. A week or so after Christmas, we were aware that there was about a third of the workforce that were suffering or needed to isolate through the effects of COVID. All that happened with us is we ran one day behind on collecting one bin collection. That was against the background of other councils still catching up until the middle of January. But no, on the 4th of January, we were back to normal with minor disruption, despite there being a third of the staff off and needing to be off. So that is a real tribute to those guys under good management that got on with the job. I want to emphasise the point that Councillor Smith said. It isn't just a good service we provide our residents, it's a brilliant service. It's thorough, it complies, and it's an award-winning service. It's nationally acclaimed. But of course, people take it for granted, because if my bin doesn't get collected one week, all of a sudden, because I've been so used to it being perfect, I think something horrendous must have gone wrong. But the reality is it's a missed bin for good reason. And actually, when you phone up, and I've had recent experience because my bin was missed a few weeks ago, they were on the case within a day and it was collected. It is a superb service. But if you look at the changes other authorities are having to make, ours will still be a superb service. And that is the comparison that we need to remember as we look around. So it's indeed a thorough report. No stone has been left unturned. Thank you to members who've contributed to that report. Thank you to Marcus for the work that you've done. And thank you to Councillor Williams for, under your stewardship, you've led the environment team where this particular project is concerned. So thank you very much indeed once again to everyone. Now turning to the recommendations, there are 5 set out in paragraphs 1.1 to 1.5, and I will read them. Number 1, to agree a 3-month extension to the existing waste collection and street cleansing contracts to the end of July 2022 to allow sufficient time for a procurement process to be undertaken. Number 2, to approve a budget of £20,000 to appoint external legal advisors to provide advice on contract strategy and preparation of legal documentation. Item 3, to note the key terms to be included in the tender of the waste collection and street cleansing contract as set out in this report, and note the timetable for the tendering process. Number 4, to note the proposed procurement route of competitive procedure with negotiation and the tender evaluation based on 60% price, 40% quality scoring criteria, and the use of the evaluation criteria set out in exempt appendix 2. And number 5, to note that the street cleansing service will be included within any waste collection service contract. So I take you, first of all, members, if I may, to numbers 3, 4 and 5, because those are items for noting. Can I take it, members, that those items are noted, please?
Noted.
Noted. Thank you, Chairman.
Noted.
Thank you very much. Now, moving to recommendations 1 and 2, I wonder whether I can assume your agreement, unless you click on the raised hand icon, that we can take those both together, please. That seems to make sense, but signal on the blue hand if you wish to deal with them separately. And I can't see anyone signifying, so we'll take them together. And also now, if members, anyone would like a recorded vote, please again click on the right hand icon, raised hand icon. No, I can't see anyone, so we will take those 2 recommendations. I assume that everyone is able to use the electronic hand. If not, please unmute yourself and state otherwise. But failing that, we will look for the raised hand icon. So all those in favour of the recommendations set out, please click on the raised hand icon. I think that's unanimous, Sonia, but you will no doubt check for me.
That is unanimous, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, members. And you can raise your, you can lower your blue hand, and there's really no point in considering other people voting against or abstaining, is there? So, so we're there. So that, members, concludes the business for this evening's meeting. Thank you very much again for attending, and I now declare the meeting closed at 8:23 or thereabouts, 8:22.
Thank you,
Very
Chairman.
much indeed, members. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks all. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sonia.